Hi, this is Tassie Pippert. Thank you to Atlantic Union Bank for supporting Tassie's Table. Atlantic Union Bank offers a range of financial solutions for consumers and businesses, including checking, savings, and lending. More about what they have to offer is available at atlanticunionbank.com or at a local branch. French onion soup is so delicious, and this is one of my family's favorite recipes. Not just because it's a family favorite, but it's a family favorite from years and years and years ago. So this one has been passed down. Today on Tassie's Table, we'll be making French onion soup. So we're gonna start with a little bit of butter in a nice warm pan. Now make sure your pan isn't too hot because you don't want that butter to burn. Just to the point where it's going to melt really, really well and quickly. And to that, we're going to add 2 large onions that have been thinly sliced. Now my goal here is to coat all of those onions with that lovely butter, and then we'll give it a little thickening with some flour. Before we add the flour, we want to sweat these onions down just a little bit. Now, what does that mean? It simply means getting the liquid to start coming out of the onions. So you're actually sweating them like you would sweat if you got really hot. So what you want to do is get them to this nice temperature where they're starting to really soften and sweat out their liquids. Now at this point, our onions are nice and translucent. They've gotten wonderfully soft, and we're going to add an equal part of flour that we added fat. So 3 tablespoons of flour, and we had added 3 tablespoons of butter. Now we just want to sprinkle that over top and then stir through. Now the goal here is to cook the flour all the way through because you don't want raw flour in your soup. You'll actually taste it if you don't cook it all the way. So we want to make sure we're tossing and getting that flour all mixed through. And then we're going to look for that flour and those onions to start becoming slightly golden. That will take about 5 minutes. Now my onions are turning a nice little golden color, just ever so slightly. And around the bottom of the pan, it's nice and medium brown. That comes from the fond that is sticking to the bottom of my pan. That's totally normal. Now at this point we want to deglaze, which is taking all that fond off of the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to use red wine, about ½ a cup. Now every recipe is a little bit different, and actually it kind of goes to your family. Where in France did your family live? Was it more beef heavy or more chicken heavy? Was it more red wine heavy or white wine heavy? So where my family comes from, red wine is much more prominent. So we're using red wine in this. And now that's taking all of that wonderful fond off the bottom of the pan. It's just lifting it up. And now I want to add some chicken stock. And that's another difference. So chicken stock versus beef stock. Now let's let that simmer for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to put it into my bowl, top it with bread and cheese, and stick it in the broiler. We've got our hot soup, and I want to put it into a bowl that will withstand the broiler. So you're putting hot soup in, so it's not like you have to heat it a lot, but you do want to put that soup into the broiler so that you can melt your cheese over your wonderful French bread. So here we go, let's pull these in. And then I want to top it with this slice of French bread and sprinkle on some Gruyere or Swiss cheese. Gruyere is more traditional. There we go, nice dollop. Now I'm gonna put this under the broiler and I'll bring it right back. Wow, look at that. This beautiful French onion soup with the crusty cheese, the delicious bread, and those very flavorful onions and broth. So I hope you've enjoyed today's recipe. For this and a lot more, join me again right here on Tassie's Table.